The ghost of TRT. In this video, we're going to break down the one major barrier, the most significant inhibitor of a good TRT experience, the element of TRT that will haunt you if your protocol is not straight. You want to try to guess what the ghost is? The ghost of TRT? It's motherfucking estrogen. Before we start the video, discount codes on product, so you guys can save some money off of our nootropic products and our courses. Both new courses that launch are 20% off. Code for that is 20 now. The Torque Nootropic Stack, pretty much all day energy, high level motivation and focus. This is 25% off. The code for that is 25 Torque. Cortex Stack, more of a focus and flow, but still stimulant nootropic. Very, very powerful. 25% off. Code for that is 25 Cortex. And lastly, I am a consultant on TRT, nootropics, energy optimization, sexual dysfunction, ED, host of things. You can hire me in under a minute at livecortex.com. The ghost of TRT, the thing that will haunt you your entire experience on TRT if it isn't straight, is estradiol. And I gotta say, there are some wacky fucking theories out there. There's wacky advice on the testosterone and TRT subreddits. There's wacky advice coming from people like Jay Campbell from the TRT and hormone optimization channel, from a few doctors. And then there's also that same crappy advice being regurgitated throughout, these communities with people who think that, who just want to trust their favorite YouTuber or whatever. And look, I'm not blaming people for that, whatever. If you look though, okay, and just type in E2 on the testosterone subreddit, just E2. I mean, there are endless posts, whether it's crashing E2 or E2 is super high. This one, HCG negated by high E2. The answer is yes. I mean, your whole experience is going to be negated by estrogen higher than the range for you. Let me just stop and we'll go back to Reddit in a second and give you an actionable takeaway.
Real actionable takeaway.
I've been working with men on TRT for 7 years. I'm on TRT myself. I see more bloods and more labs than any Redditor you will ever see or ever know. And what I have come to learn definitively at this point, that guys on TRT, generally speaking, with the exception of these anomalous outliers, which I'm not even sure if they're reporting accurately, need to be between 20 and 35 picograms per milliliter of estradiol. By the way, though, that also means men that are super physiologic, sitting at 1200, 1300, 1400, well, guess what? Maybe they can get away with a little, maybe 10 picograms per milliliter difference, but they're still going to need to be in that range or close to that range. Let me tell you what happens when estradiol gets above that range and it stays there. You may have a temporary snapshot of estradiol at 40 and you feel fine and whatever. Yeah, give it some time. All this stuff is going to happen. This is what happens, okay? Libido drops. Your desire for sex will be significantly blunted when estradiol, this predominantly female hormone that we as males need some degree of, but not a substantial degree of, is too high. It is true that you do need aromatase expression activity, so converting androgens into estradiol in the brain for a healthy libido. I'm not disputing that at all. In fact, it's true. However, past a certain range, this is where libido gets blunted. It haunts guys' TRT experience. This is why estrogen is the ghost of TRT. Next thing is going to happen when your estrogen is too high. Your erection frequency, your morning erections, your nocturnal erections, and your rigidity during sex or, around sexual activity is going to be substantially less, if any. I mean, some guys lose their erections completely because they're letting estradiol go above 40. It stays there for a month or two. Now it's at 42, but it's staying there. Receptors are saturating, all the penile VEGF is increasing. So you're getting venous occlusion disorder, which leads to venous leakage, and that causes erectile dysfunction. I mean, all this stuff is in the scientific literature, guys. Obviously, water retention. Estradiol changes the set point for arginine vasopressin. That is your literal anti-diuretic hormone, right? If it's too high because that set point was changed from, a good degree of estradiol, you're going to literally retain more fluid in your cells and in your body than usual. That's water retention, guys. Going to be somewhat flippantly emotional, You can kind of fly off the handle very quickly. You'll be a lot less on this emotional front. You'll be a lot less masculine, like in relation to being with a woman, especially, but just in all situations, and much more feminine in that you'll cry easy. When things upset you, you're more likely to sort of have a meltdown when fucking catastrophic shit is going on. Whereas a high testosterone, controlled estradiol male does not do that. It's very difficult. I want to make this point. It is very difficult to get a high testosterone controlled estradiol male to cry. And then lastly, as you see on the screen, everything that I say is always backed up by scientific literature. The association between higher estradiol and hematocrit is super clear. So a lot of guys on testosterone, though testosterone may drive it, estradiol is driving the hematocrit pretty significantly too. This is why estradiol, or estrogen, is the ghost of TRT. It haunts people. I'm supposed to go down. I'm going downwards. Look right in mine eyes. Subscribe to the channel, please. It really makes a difference. I would really appreciate it if you would just hit that sub button. Go ahead and do it. I'll wait. Take my word for it, though. Let's hear it from the real horse's mouth. High E2, what's the downside? Here are the responses from real men. For myself personally, sleep apnea, water retention, oily skin, soft erections, the loss of the ability to orgasm. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Sensation will go down pretty substantially in your junk, which is a terrible experience. It's borderlining on what the PSSD guys deal with, the post-SSRI sexual dysfunction people deal with.
Just a little reminder to you guys, when you hit the like button, it actually makes a real big difference on the channel, okay? So if you would, just take a little bit of time out of your fucking day and hit the goddamn like button.
Insane emotional insecurity and probably forgetting some things. When my E2 was in that range, my life was a living hell. Another one, oily skin, acne, weak erections, high blood pressure. Forgot that one too. Feel wired, can't sleep, eventually fatigue, highly empathic and emotional. Again, I mean, if you want to live your life all functioning like a fucking woman, then, go for it. But I don't suggest it. He goes, oh yeah, water retention, looking puffy. When I get E2 down, I'd be pissing a ton for a couple days. Absolutely. That's what happens when E2 drops. Your water retention set point changes. Things get back to normal. You hold a lot less water. This guy, I'm at 50 picograms per milliliter. So for those of you that think 50, you can push 50 and be okay, I don't recommend it. And I feel depressed. No libido, bad erections, have mood springs. Bad mood springs, have mood swings, explode easily, cry for no reason. I mean, if this isn't fucking verbatim or just in another way of saying what I said in the beginning, I don't know what is. But a quick take us to a video by a dude named James Grage, who has a doctor who's called Brett Osborne on talking about TRT. And he makes a critical point that everybody on TRT needs to know about the ghost of testosterone replacement therapy. Have a look.
I said, you're calling me and you have ED problems, which he really doesn't. He's a very healthy guy, okay? No medical problems, just on a little bit of test. I said, it's probably your libido. What's your estradiol level? I don't know. You better go check it. Because with estradiol, men are probably best at 20, 25, 30, 35, but the window, if I can get one point across, is extremely narrow.
So I agree with him fully. And yes, low estrogen is going to tank your libido as well. That window of 20 to 35 is where you must be. Anything outside of that for consistent periods of time, and you're going to be haunted on your experience on TRT by estradiol problems. I would say too, err on the side of higher versus lower. Like if, you take your AI out of the picture and you end up at 40, I mean, you could do some other things to take it down to 30 without an AI. I mean, there's a compound called myomin, which is a natural aromatase inhibitor, not as strong. Or ultimately, as many people suggest, you can just lower your testosterone dose and give it 4 to 6 weeks where the estradiol, where the serum levels of estradiol will start to balance at the new normal, which will be lower. If your TRT protocol has you coming in at 40, yeah, just lower your dose by 20 milligrams or so. Give it 6 weeks, and at the end of that 6 weeks, you'll probably be down to 32, 33. Maybe that's good for you. If you need to lower it again, another 15 milligrams or so, give it 4 to 6 weeks, run estradiol again, you'll probably be in that 20 to 30 range. And I can guarantee you, if you're there long enough and you don't get antsy to change the dose because it's not quite what you want yet, and because you haven't given it enough time, but you think somehow you're just going to change the dose and then you'll get some effect in like 3 days or something. If you give it long enough where that estradiol balances out and stays in that right range, that is when libido, erection quality, that masculine feel, optimal water retention, all comes back in range where you feel and function good. As I said in the beginning, yeah, I got coupon codes for you guys on product. Supercharge Dopamine is the most popular course I've ever launched. We've sold more copies than I ever imagined, so I want to thank you guys for that. However, you know, it's an evergreen product, so I've got a discount code for you. Code is 20 now, saves you 20% off right now. Torque Stack, all-day mental energy. People ditch their Adderall and their modafinil in some cases and take Torque. It is that powerful of a compound. 25% off right now. Code for that is 25 Torque. Pretty much same thing with Cortex, except Cortex comes with a focus and flow element in addition to the stimulation. This thing is powerful. 25% off. Code for that is 25 Cortex. And look, if you're having problems dialing in your TRT protocol and you don't know what to do, hire me. I've been looking at bloods and doing TRT protocol optimization for the greater part of the last decade. Okay, you can hire me in under a minute at livecortex.com. All right, everybody, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great week on to the weekend. Let's go. Live stream probably Saturday, so look forward to that. And I'll talk to you in the next one.
Just a little reminder to you guys, when you hit the like button, actually makes a real big difference on the channel, okay? So if you would, just take a little bit of time out of your fucking day and hit the goddamn like button.